Captain Park Mina checked her fighter controls one more time as she led her squadron through the darkness of space. The blue marble of Earth hung below them like a precious gem against the black void. Her 12 fighters moved in perfect formation around the massive battleship Incheon. It was supposed to be a routine patrol mission. The morning had started normally enough. Park Mina had woken up in her quarters aboard the Incheon at 0600 hours. She grabbed her usual breakfast of rice and eggs in the mess hall. The other pilots joked about the upcoming weekend leave. Everything felt peaceful and ordinary. Now she flew her sleek fighter through the asteroid belt between Earth and Mars. The silence of space surrounded her small craft. Only the gentle hum of the engines and the steady beep of her instruments broke the quiet. Her squadron spread out in a wide search pattern. They were looking for anything unusual. Admiral Kim Tae-ho sat in the command center of Luna Station. The moon base served as Earth's primary defense headquarters. Dozens of screens showed him the positions of every ship in the Earth Defense Force. Green dots represented friendly vessels. The space around Earth looked secure and calm. Kim Tae-ho was a veteran of many battles. He had fought in the Mars Colony Wars 20 years ago. Those conflicts taught him to never trust peaceful moments. His weathered hands moved across the control panels as he checked each defense system. The orbital platforms were armed and ready. The missile arrays pointed outward toward the stars. Dr. Lee Hoon-woo worked in his laboratory deep inside Luna Station. As Earth's chief scientist studying alien life, he spent his days examining strange artifacts and signals from deep space. Most of the time, he found nothing interesting. Space debris, old satellites, and natural phenomena filled his reports. Today felt different, though. His instruments detected unusual energy readings from the outer system. The patterns were too regular to be natural, too complex to be from any known human technology. Dr. Lee frowned as he studied the data on his screens. Commander Jang Sora monitored the early warning systems from her post on Luna Station. Banks of sensors reached far into space, watching for any threats to Earth. The displays showed normal readings across all sectors. Solar wind levels were low. No asteroids approached on dangerous paths. Everything appeared normal. Then the sensors went crazy. Massive energy signatures suddenly appeared at the edge of the solar system. Not one or two contacts, but dozens. The readings were huge, far larger than any human spacecraft. Commander Jang stared at her screens in disbelief. Ships that big should not exist. She immediately contacted Admiral Kim Tae-ho. Sir, we have multiple contacts entering the system. Energy signatures are off the charts. I count at least 40 vessels, possibly more. Admiral Kim rushed to the sensor station. The display showed red dots streaming into the solar system like drops of blood and water. Each dot represented a ship the size of a small city. They moved with purpose toward Earth. Captain Park Mina received the emergency signal while patrolling near Mars. All fighters returned to base immediately. Unknown vessels approaching Earth. This is not a drill. She had never heard such urgency. In Admiral Kim's voice, Park Mina pulled her fighter into a sharp turn toward Earth. Her squadron followed close behind. The engines roared as they pushed toward maximum speed. Dr. Lee Hoon-woo studied the incoming ships with his most powerful sensors. The vessels were unlike anything in human databases. Their hulls seemed to absorb light, making them appear as dark shadows against the stars. Energy readings suggested weapons and shielding technology far beyond Earth's capabilities. Admiral Dr. Lee reported over the communication system. These ships are not human. The technology is completely alien. And sir, based on their approach, vector, and formation, I believe they are hostile. The alien fleet moved steadily toward Earth. They made no attempt to communicate. No signals asked for peaceful contact. The ships simply advanced like predators closing in on prey. Admiral Kim activated the defense protocols. Alarms rang throughout Luna Station and every Earth Defense Force base. Thousands of personnel rushed to their battle stations. The orbital defense platforms powered up their weapons. Fighter squadrons launched from bases on Earth and the Moon. The alien ships were massive beyond imagination. Each vessel stretched 4 kilometers. Their dark holes bristled with weapon ports and strange devices. They moved in perfect formation. Like a pack of hunting wolves, Captain Park Mina reached Earth's orbit, just as the first alien ship came into visual range. Through her cockpit window, she could see the enormous vessel blotting out the stars. It was bigger than any mountain on Earth. The sight made her feel small and helpless. "My God," she whispered into her radio, "how do we fight something that big?" The alien ship ignored the human fighters completely. It headed straight for Earth as if the defense force did not exist. More ships followed behind it. Soon the entire alien fleet hung in space around Earth like a dark cloud. Admiral Kim tried to establish communication. "Unknown vessels. This is Admiral Kim Taiho of the Earth Defense Force. Please identify yourselves and state your intentions." Only silence answered him. Then the aliens began their attack. Beams of pure energy lanced out from the alien ships. The weapons cut through Earth's orbital defense platforms like hot knives through butter. Explosions lit up space as the platforms died one by one. Human ships tried to return fire, but their weapons barely scratched the alien hulls. The alien fleet advanced toward Earth. They targeted major cities with their energy weapons. New York, London, Tokyo, and Seoul disappeared under beams of destruction. Millions of people died in the first few minutes of the attack. Captain Park Mina led her fighters in desperate attacks against the alien ships. Her missiles exploded harmlessly. Against their shields, the energy beams from the alien weapons sliced through human fighters like they were made of paper. Half her squadron died in the first engagement. Admiral Kim watched helplessly as Earth's defenses crumbled. The alien technology was too advanced. Their ships too powerful. Humanity had no answer to this assault. Dr. Lee Hoonwoo worked frantically to understand the alien technology. Maybe he could find a weakness, some way to fight back. But the readings on his instruments made no sense. The aliens used principles of physics that humans barely understood. Commander Jang Sora coordinated the evacuation of Earth's population. Emergency signals went out to every city and town. People fled to underground shelters and remote areas, but there was nowhere to hide from weapons that could destroy entire cities. The alien attack continued through the day and into the night. More orbital platforms died. More cities burned. The alien fleet moved closer to Earth, tightening their grip on the planet. Then something unexpected appeared on the long range. Sensors. A single ship approached from the outer system. It was not human in design, but it was also clearly not part of the alien fleet. The newcomer moved with strange grace through space. Its hull gleamed with an unusual metallic shine. Commander Jang studied the readings with confusion. "Admiral, we have a new contact. Single vessel approaching from the asteroid belt. Configuration unknown. It does not match human or alien designs." Admiral Kim stared at the display. After hours of hopeless battle, he hardly dared to hope. But maybe, just maybe, help was coming. The unknown ship continued its approach toward Earth and the alien fleet. The unknown ship moved through space like a silver ghost. Captain Cho Woo-bin piloted his experimental stealth fighter closer to get a better look. His small craft was the most advanced scout ship in the Earth Defense Force. Its special coating made it nearly invisible to enemy sensors. Cho Woo-bin had volunteered for the dangerous reconnaissance mission. Someone needed to find out what this new ship was and whose side it might be on. Earth could not afford another enemy right now. The alien fleet was already destroying everything in sight. As he approached the mysterious vessel, Cho Woo-bin was amazed by what he saw. The ship was beautiful in a strange way. Its hull curved and flowed like liquid metal. Strange symbols covered its surface. The markings looked almost familiar, but he could not read them. The ship was much smaller than the massive alien destroyers, but still larger than any human warship. It moved with impossible grace for something so big, no human ship could turn and twist through space like that. The unknown vessel seemed to dance between the alien energy beams. Lieutenant Yoon-jina sat at her communication station aboard Luna Station. Her job was to try to contact the mysterious ship. She had been sending signals for 20 minutes with no response. Every frequency she tried met only silence. "Unknown vessel, this is Lieutenant Yoon-jina of the Earth Defense Force," she broadcast. "Again, please respond. We need to know your intentions." Still nothing. The mysterious ship suddenly accelerated toward the alien fleet. Cho Woo-bin followed at a safe distance, his stealth systems keeping him hidden. He watched in amazement as the unknown vessel opened fire on the aliens. The weapons were unlike anything human or alien. Beams of blue-white energy shot from the mysterious ship. But these beams did something impossible. They passed right through the alien shields as if the shields did not exist. The energy struck the alien hull and cut deep wounds in the dark metal. One of the massive alien ships exploded in a ball of fire. Then another. The mysterious vessel danced between the return fire from the alien fleet. Their weapons could not seem to hit the graceful ship. Admiral Kim Tae-ho watched the battle from Luna Station with growing hope. What kind of weapons can cut through their shields like that? He asked Dr. Lee Hyun-woo. Dr. Lee studied his instruments with wide eyes. I have no idea, Admiral. The energy readings make no sense. It is like the weapons exist on a different level of reality. General Kang Doyan coordinated the ground defense of Seoul from his bunker deep underground. The alien attack had destroyed most of the city above him, but he could see the space battle through his periscope cameras. The mysterious ship was fighting the aliens and winning. Maybe we have a chance after all, he told his staff officers. The unknown vessel continued its deadly dance with the alien fleet. 3 more alien ships died under its impossible weapons. The remaining aliens began to pull back from Earth. They seemed confused by this new enemy. Captain Cho Woo-bin flew closer to the mysterious ship. Through his cockpit window, he could see figures moving inside the vessel. They looked human, but something was different about them. They moved too smoothly, too quickly, like they were not bound by normal human limits. The bridge of the unknown ship was visible through a large window. Cho Woo-bin could see the crew working at their stations. They wore uniforms he did not recognize. The style looked old, but also futuristic at the same time. Lieutenant Yoon Jina tried a different approach. Instead of using standard Earth communication protocols, she began broadcasting in Korean, then Chinese, then Japanese, every human language she knew. Finally, a response came. The voice spoke Korean, but with an accent Yoon Jina had never heard before. The words were formal and old-fashioned, like someone reading from an ancient book. Earthship Luna Station, this is Captain Im Nari of the vessel Han Sol. We bring greetings from the children of Earth who sail the distant stars. Everyone on Luna Station fell silent. Admiral Kim grabbed the microphone. Captain Im Nari, this is Admiral Kim Tae-ho. Are you saying you are human? We are the descendants of those who left Earth 500 years ago, came the reply. We have been fighting these destroyers across the galaxy. We followed them here to stop their attack on our homeworld. Dr. Lee Hyun-woo studied the ship. With new eyes, 500 years ago was when Earth had launched its first deep space colony missions. Most of those ships had been lost. Everyone assumed they had died in the void between stars. The Han Sol moved alongside the Earth fleet. Up close, the human ships looked primitive compared to the mysterious vessel. The Han Sol had weapons and technology that seemed like magic. Captain Park Mina led her remaining fighters in formation with the Han Sol. She could see the crew through the ship's windows now. They did look human, but enhanced somehow. Their eyes seemed to glow with inner light. Their movements were too perfect and precise. The alien fleet regrouped for another attack. The massive ships formed a battle line facing Earth and the Han Sol. Their weapons charged with deadly energy. Captain Im Nari spoke again over the radio. Earth ships pulled back to defensive positions. We will handle the first wave. Admiral Kim wanted to argue. His pride demanded that Earth ships fight alongside their mysterious allies. But he had seen what the alien weapons could do to human ships. The Han Sol had technology that could actually hurt the aliens. All ships fall back to lunar orbit, he ordered. The Han Sol advanced alone toward the alien battle line. The massive enemy ships opened fire with everything they had. Dozens of energy beams lanced toward the lone human vessel, but the Han Sol seemed to flicker in and out of existence. The alien weapons passed through empty space where the ship had been moments before. Then the Han Sol reappeared behind the alien line and opened fire. More alien ships died under the impossible weapons. Their hulls split open like ripe fruit. Explosions lit up space as the destroyers burned. Cho Woo-bin watched the battle with amazement. They are not just fighting the aliens, he reported to Luna Station. They are hunting them. The surviving alien ships began to retreat toward the outer system. They had never faced weapons like these before. Their shields and armor meant nothing against the Hansol's guns, but the mysterious ship did not chase them. Instead, it turned back toward Earth and Luna Station. Admiral Kim Taiho, Captain Im Nari's voice came over the radio. "We request permission to dock with your station. There is much we need to discuss. The danger to Earth is far from over." Admiral Kim looked around his command center. His officers stared back at him with hope and fear in their eyes. These mysterious humans had saved Earth from destruction. But who were they really, and what did they want? "Permission granted, Captain Im Nari," he replied. "Welcome home." The Hansol moved gracefully toward Luna Station. Its hull gleamed in the light of the sun and Earth below. Whatever secrets it carried, Admiral Kim knew that nothing would ever be the same again. Lieutenant Yu and Gina prepared the docking bay for their mysterious visitors. Soon they would have answers to questions that had puzzled humanity for 5 centuries. Dr. Lee Hunwoo gathered his instruments to study the Hansol's technology. Perhaps these long-lost humans had found the key to defeating the alien threat once and for all. The battle was over, for now. But everyone knew the real war was just beginning. The docking bay of Luna Station had never seen a ship like the Hansol. The mysterious vessel settled into the landing cradle with barely a sound. Its hull shimmered with colors that seemed to shift and change in the artificial light. Admiral Kim Taiho waited in the docking bay with his senior officers. Dr. Lee Hyun-woo stood beside him with recording equipment to document this historic moment. Nobody knew what to expect from these mysterious visitors. The airlock of the Hansol opened with a soft hiss. A figure stepped out, and Admiral Kim felt his breath catch in his throat. With perfect grace, and her eyes held depths that seemed ancient beyond her years, Captain Im Nari wore a uniform that looked both familiar and strange. The style reminded Admiral Kim of old Earth military designs, but made from materials that seemed to glow with inner light. Small devices were integrated seamlessly into the fabric. Engineer Bae Kyung-ho was a tall man with hands that moved like a master craftsman. His fingers seemed to know exactly where every control and switch should be. Navigator Oh Sunmi had eyes that sparkled with the light of distant stars, like she had seen wonders beyond imagination. Admiral Kim Taiho, Captain Im Nari, said with a formal bow, "It is an honor to meet the defender of our birthworld. I am Captain Im Nari of the colony ship Hansol. We have traveled far to return home." Her Korean was perfect, but had an accent that sounded like ancient court language mixed with something entirely new. The words carried weight and history. Admiral Kim returned the bow. "But they may not be the answers you want to hear." They moved to the main conference room. Captain Im Nari activated a device on her wrist, and suddenly the air above the table filled with images. Stars and planets appeared in 3 dimensions. Battle scenes played out in miniature above their heads. 500 years ago, Earth launched 12 colony ships to the stars. Captain Im Nari began. The project was secret. Only the highest levels of government knew about it. Each ship carried 10,000 colonists and everything needed to build a new world. References to it in old archives, but most records were destroyed. "Our ship, the Hansol, was the third to launch," Captain Im Nari continued. "We were bound for a system 47 light-years from Earth. The journey took us 30 years even with our advanced engines, soul traveling through space. The ship looked different than it did now, more like the colony vessels Earth had built centuries ago. We found our new world and began to build our colony." Navigator Oh Sunmi spoke for the first time. Her voice carried the music of someone who had seen the birth of worlds. "For 50 years, we grew and prospered. The stars." Engineer Bae Kyung-ho touched his device, and the display changed. Now it showed massive, dark ships dropping from hyperspace above a peaceful planet. "The Vorthok found us," Captain Im Nari said. Grimly, "They came without warning and without mercy. Our colony had no weapons that could stop them. In one day, they destroyed everything we had built. The holographic images showed cities burning under alien energy beams, people fleeing in terror as the Vorthok ships hunted them down. 100 years ago, most of our people died in that first attack," Engineer Bae continued, "but some of us escaped in the Hansol. We spent the next 4 centuries hunting the Vorthok across the galaxy," Captain Im Nari explained. Every world they destroyed, every species they enslaved, taught us more about their weaknesses. We evolved from refugees into something new. Admiral Kim studied the three visitors carefully. Now he understood why they moved differently than normal humans. 400 years of constant warfare had changed them, not just their technology, but themselves. The Vorthok are not just raiders, navigator. Oh, Sunmi explained. They are part of a vast empire that spans half the galaxy. They conquer worlds to feed their war machine. Every species becomes slaves or soldiers or food. Dr. Lee Hyunwoo felt sick at the thought. How many worlds have they destroyed? Thousands, Captain Imnari replied quietly. We have seen the bones of civilizations that lasted millions of years, all ground to dust under Vorthok boots. The holographic display showed a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked Vorthok-controlled systems. There were so many that they looked like drops of blood scattered across the stars, but we found their weakness, Engineer Bay said with satisfaction. The Vorthok are ruled by a single mind, a quantum computer called the Nexus that controls every ship and soldier in their empire. Their strength is also their weakness, Captain Imnari explained. They cannot adapt or improvise. They follow patterns set by the Nexus. But humans are different. We change and grow and surprise our enemies. Admiral Kim began to understand. That is why your weapons work when ours do not. You designed them to exploit Vorthok weaknesses. Our quantum disruption beams target the control signals from their Nexus. When we cut those signals, their shields fail and their weapons stop working. Dr. Lee Hyunwoo studied the technical data flowing through the holographic display. The science was far beyond anything Earth had developed, but it was still recognizably human in its approach. We followed this Vorthok fleet for 20 years, Captain Imnari continued. When we learned they were heading for Earth, we knew we had to stop them. We could not let them destroy our birth world. But stopping this fleet is not enough. Engineer, Bay warned, the Vorthok Empire will send more ships, bigger fleets. They will not stop until Earth is conquered or destroyed. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Earth had won one battle, but the war was far from over. There is only one way to save Earth, Captain Imnari said. We must destroy the Nexus itself, cut the head from the snake, and watch the body die. Admiral Kim felt hope and fear in equal measure. Where is this Nexus? Navigator Oh Sunmi touched. Her controls and the display zoomed to show a massive space station orbiting a red giant star. The structure was larger than Earth's moon and bristled with weapons. The Vorthok home system, she said, defended by 10,000 ships and orbital fortresses. Until now, Captain Imnari said with a smile that was both beautiful and terrifying, because they have never faced humans who refuse to give up. Engineer Bay activated another display showing ship designs and weapon specifications. We can upgrade your Earth ships with our technology. Give your pilots the tools they need to fight the Vorthok. But the mission will be dangerous. Navigator Oh Sunmei. At us, Admiral Kim looked around the room at his officers. They had already lost so much in the attack on Earth. Could he ask them to risk everything on a desperate assault across the galaxy? Dr. Lee Hyunwoo spoke first. If we do nothing, Earth dies anyway. At least this way, we fight back. Commander Jang Sora nodded agreement. My family died in the Seoul attack. I want revenge. Admiral Kim made his decision. What do you need from U.S. Captain Imnari? Everything, she replied. Every ship, every pilot, every resource Earth can spare. This will be humanity's greatest battle. We either win together or die together. The meeting continued deep into the night as the colonists shared for centuries of knowledge about fighting the Vorthok. Plans took shape for the most desperate mission in human history. Outside the conference room windows, Earth turned slowly in space. Soon its defenders would leave to fight for the freedom of the entire galaxy. The shipyards of Earth had never worked so hard. Day and night, thousands of workers labored to upgrade the human fleet with colony technology. Sparks flew as welders attached quantum weapon arrays to Earth battleships. Engineers crawled through tight spaces, installing new shield generators and power systems. Major Park Juan walked through the construction bays, watching the miraculous transformation. Earth ships that had been helpless against Vorthok weapons were becoming deadly predators. The colony technology integrated smoothly with human designs, like it had been meant to work together all along. Technician Han Xiangwu worked alongside engineer Bei Kyung-ho to install neural interface systems in the fighter craft. The small devices would allow Earth pilots to control their ships with thought alone. But the process was dangerous. Not every human brain could handle the connection. Of volunteer pilots, she had lost her entire family in the Seoul attack. Fear was something she had left behind with her grief. I volunteered to go first. The neural interface procedure took place in the medical bay of Luna Station. Song Murray lay on the operating table while Dr. Lee Han-woo and the colony medical team worked on her. Tiny devices were implanted behind her ears and at the base of her skull. When Song Murray woke up, her eyes glowed with the same inner light as the colonists. She could feel her fighter craft like it was part of her own body. Every system responded. To her thoughts, before she even knew what she wanted to do, Captain Park Mina volunteered for the procedure next. Then dozens of other pilots followed. The neural interface demanded perfection from both mind and body. Those who failed paid with their lives, but those who succeeded became something new. Human pilots, with colony enhancements, could fly impossible maneuvers and react faster than any computer. They became the elite squadron that would lead the attack on the Nexus commander. Yu Jae-yen coordinated the massive fleet that was taking shape around Earth. Battleships from every nation joined together under a single command. The Han Sol served as the flagship, its advanced systems linking all the other ships into a unified fighting force. The integration was not without problems. Explosions rocked several ships as power systems overloaded. 3 fighters were destroyed when their quantum weapons. Earth provided the numbers and industrial might, while the colonists provided the advanced technology and tactical knowledge. Neither could win alone, but together they might have a chance. Navigator Oh Sunmi worked with Earth astronomers to plan the route to the Vorthok home system. The journey would take them through hostile space controlled by alien patrol fleets. They would have to fight their way past dozens of enemy strongholds. The Vorthok will see us coming long before we reach their home system, she explained to the fleet commanders. They will throw everything they have at us to stop the attack. Major Park Ji-won trained the ground assault teams that would board the Nexus station. The colonists had provided detailed maps of Vorthok installations. The boarding teams would need to fight through kilometers of corridors filled with alien defenders. But they are not smarter. They follow programmed responses. If you can break their patterns, you can defeat them. The ground forces trained with colony weapons that could punch through Vorthok armor. Energy rifles that never ran out of power. Plasma grenades that burned through metal walls. Personal shields that could stop alien claws and energy beams. Pilot Song Murray led the enhanced fighter pilots through combat exercises. Her neural interface allowed her to control multiple drones while flying her own craft. She could process tactical information faster than any human computer system. The other enhanced pilots showed similar improvements. They could fly in perfect formation without radio contact. The Sentries, he learned how their ships worked and how their weapons functioned. Most importantly, he learned how the Nexus controlled everything in their empire. The Nexus sends control signals through quantum entanglement. He explained to Admiral Kim, every Vorthok ship and soldier receives constant updates on what to do. Cut those signals, and their entire military becomes helpless. But destroying the Nexus would not be easy. The massive station was protected by energy shields that could stop entire fleets. Thousands of automated defense systems guarded every approach, worked on the special bombs that would destroy the Nexus. The devices used colony. When they exploded, they would take the entire station with them into another dimension. Captain Imnari spent her time training Earth officers in Vorthok battle tactics. She showed them how Vorthok fleets moved and how their commanders thought. They are predictable because the Nexus makes all their decisions, she explained, but that also makes them vulnerable. If we can force them to react faster than the Nexus can process, they will make mistakes. The final preparations took 3 months. When the fleet was ready, it stretched across space like a silver river. 500 Earthships enhanced with colony technology. 10,000 fighters piloted by humans with neural interfaces. Assault troops armed with weapons that could kill gods. Admiral Kim stood on the bridge of his flagship watching the magnificent sight. Never in human history had such a fleet been assembled. Ships from every nation and culture worked together. For a single-purpose Commander, Yu Jaeon reported that all systems were ready. The quantum drives had been charged for the long journey to the Vorthok home system. Every ship carried enough supplies for the months-long campaign ahead. Captain Park Mina led her enhanced fighter wing in a final patrol around the fleet. They had become something beyond normal humans, but they were still fighting for humanity's future. Engineer. The colony technology had been adapted for mass production using Earth manufacturing techniques. Now, every human ship could punch through Vorthok defenses. Navigator Osunmi calculated the hyperspace routes one final time. The journey would take them through the most dangerous regions of the galaxy. Enemy patrols would hunt them at every step, but there was no other way to reach the Nexus. Dr. Lee Hyunwoo loaded his portable laboratory with samples of every alien technology they had encountered. If the mission succeeded, he wanted to study everything they captured. If it failed, at least his research might help future generations. Major Park Ji-won addressed his assault troops one last time. These brave men and women would face the most dangerous part of the mission. They would board the Nexus station and fight through its defenses to plant the quantum bombs. "We may not all come home," he told them, "but we will make sure our children have a future free from alien slavery." The fleet began to move. One by one, the ships activated their quantum drives and disappeared into hyperspace. The greatest armada in human history was heading toward the heart of the Vorthok Empire. Song My-rae flew her enhanced fighter alongside the Han Sol as they entered hyperspace. Through her neural interface, she could feel the excitement and fear of every pilot in the fleet. They were united in purpose, like never before. The journey to decide humanity's fate had begun. The red giant star burned with angry light, casting everything in shades of blood. Around it orbited the massive Nexus station, larger than any moon and bristling with thousands of Vorthok ships moved into defensive positions around the Nexus. Each vessel was a moving fortress, capable of wiping out entire fleets. The sight should have filled him with despair. Instead, he felt calm determination. The human fleet had fought its way through 20 star systems to reach this place. They had lost many ships and brave crews along the way, but they had also learned Vorthok tactics like a book. She could see how they would deploy their forces and where their weaknesses lay. "They are arranging themselves in the standard defensive pattern," she reported to Admiral Kim over the communication link. "The Nexus is making their decisions for them. That gives us an advantage." Dr. Lee Hyunwoo analyzed the readings from his instruments. The Nexus station pulsed with quantum energy as it sent control signals to every Vorthok ship and weapon. "The quantum signature is stronger than we expected," he reported. "But that also means our disruption weapons will be more effective. We can use their own power against them." The battle began when the Vorthok opened fire at maximum range. Thousands of energy beams lanced across space toward the human fleet. But Captain Park, Mina, and her enhanced pilots were ready. Their neural interfaces let them predict the alien weapons and dodge between the deadly beams. The human ships returned. Fire with their quantum disruption weapons. Blue-white energy struck the Vorthok vessels and passed through their shields like they were made of paper. The Vorthok had numbers on their side. For every alien ship that died, 2 more took its place. The defensive fleet around the Nexus contained every vessel the Empire could spare. In impossible maneuvers through the enemy formation, she struck like lightning and vanished before the aliens could respond. The other enhanced pilots fought with similar skill. They moved through space like dancers, their ships responding to thought faster than any alien computer could track. But even with their advantages, coordinated the fleet movements from his position aboard the flagship, the human ships fought in perfect harmony, each vessel knowing exactly where the others would be. Earth's industrial might, combined with colony technology, created a fighting force unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Engineer Bake monitored the quantum weapon systems as they fired again and again. Every shot found its mark, and every hit crippled an enemy vessel. Major Park Ji-won prepared his assault teams for the most dangerous part of the mission. While the fleet battled the Vorthok ships, his soldiers would board the Nexus station and fight their way to its core. Only by destroying the central computer could they end the Empire's threat forever. The assault shuttles launched from the human ships like arrows shot from a bow. They used the chaos of the space battle to approach the massive station undetected. Vorthok weapons tried to stop them, but the small craft were too fast and agile. Navigator Oh Sun-mi guided the shuttles through the station's defensive grid. Her centuries of experience showed her the safe paths between the automated weapons. One by one, the assault craft reached the docking bays of the Nexus. Major Park Ji-won was first out of his shuttle when it touched down inside the station. The assault teams advanced through corridors that stretched for kilometers. The inside of the Nexus was a maze of passages and chambers, filled with alien technology. Vorthok soldiers attacked from every direction, but they fought according to programmed responses. The human troops used unpredictable tactics that confused the alien defenders. Her target was the central quantum computer that controlled the entire empire. There would require fighting through the most heavily defended areas of the station. The space battle raged. Around them, as more Vorthok ships arrived to defend their home system, Admiral Kim watched his fleet take heavy casualties, but they held their positions. Every human ship that died bought more time for the assault teams inside the station. Dr. Lee Hyun-woo detected massive power buildups throughout the Nexus. The station was preparing to fire its main weapon, a beam capable of destroying stars. If it fired, the human fleet would be vaporized instantly. The assault teams must reach the core soon, or we will all die. Major Park Ji-won and his soldiers fought their way deeper into the station. The central computer was a massive crystal structure that pulsed with evil light. Quantum signals flowed from it to every corner of the galaxy. This single machine controlled the fate of billions of enslaved beings. She planted the quantum bombs around the crystal structure while her soldiers held off the Vorthok guards. The devices would tear holes in space itself when they exploded. Nothing could survive such destruction. The assault teams were trapped inside the station with no way out. They had succeeded in their mission, but they would not live to see the... "It has been an honor fighting beside you all," he told his troops. "Our families will be free because of what we do here." The quantum bombs exploded in perfect synchronization. Reality tore apart around the Nexus core as the station collapsed into itself. Every Vorthok ship stopped fighting. Their weapons fell silent and their engines shut down. The empire that had terrorized the galaxy for millennia died in a single moment. Admiral Kim felt tears on his cheeks as he watched the enemy fleet go dark. The price of victory had been terrible, but humanity had saved itself and countless other species from slavery. Captain Park Mina led the surviving fighters in a final sweep of the battlefield. The enhanced pilots searched for any remaining threats, but found only drifting hulks. The Vorthok Empire was truly dead. Across the galaxy, alien ships stopped in the middle of their missions. Slave worlds found their guards standing motionless. Species that had been enslaved for generations suddenly found themselves free. The galaxy itself seemed to breathe easier. Quantum explosion had created ripples that would be felt for light years. But more importantly, it had severed every control link in the Vorthok Empire. Navigator Oh Sun-mi plotted the course home to Earth. The journey would be long and many ships would not make it, but they carried news of the greatest victory in human. The aliens had possessed advanced science, but no imagination. In human hands, their discoveries would lead to wonders beyond imagining. Surviving human fleet began its journey home. In its place would grow something new, a federation of free worlds led by the species that refused to surrender. Song Mi-rae felt the thoughts of her fellow enhanced pilots through their neural links. They had become something more than human. During the war, now they would help guide humanity into its destiny among the stars. Earth would never again face the threat of alien conquest. The species that had seemed so weak and primitive had proven that freedom and determination could overcome any enemy. Humanity had earned its place as the defender of liberty in the galaxy. The age of human expansion had begun.